Hi guys, I'm back. I've been away for a long time because I was very, very ill. And I'm finally getting better. Not perfect, but I'm getting better and decided it's time for me to try and do some more tutorials. I'm calling this one the guitar pick doodle. And the reason I'm calling it that is because the beads I've chosen to use are the same shape as the guitar picks. As a matter of fact, you could go and buy yourself guitar picks, drill a hole in the top. You know, the mother of pearl ones are so beautiful. You can get them in red and blue and white, I think. You can use stones that have the top drill hole as well. If they're not, you want to fancy them up with a design like this, that works too. It doesn't have to be the guitar pick shape. It could be ovals. It could be squares and rectangles would work. Excuse me. Oh, no, I don't know why I'm yawning. I guess because I'm out of oxygen. Anyway, so yeah, let's get on with it. I just wanted to say first, please consider joining my group to support me if you want to see more designs or give me a tip or however it is to help contribute. And if you're wanting to buy some of my designs, please just let me know in the comments and I will hook up with you, and we can go from there, because that supports me as well if you buy some items from me. And yeah, so let's get on with it. Okay, so for supplies, you're going to need 20 gauge wire. I have two 13-inch lengths, which is approximately 32 and a half, so 33 centimeters would be fine. And I have two beads that I made, but guitar picks with a hole drilled on top would be good, or any kind of boring stone that you want to put a design in front would be great. You know what you would want to use. I made these, so that's just what I'm working with. So these ones, and the size really doesn't matter, but this is about the smallest I would go. These are about 1 inch. Well, a little bit less than an inch in length, and probably the same in the width. Yeah, the length and the width is the same. And so I'm calling these guitar pick earrings. I probably said that in the intro, but got to remember, I haven't done the intro yet. So I got to do this part first, and then I'll do the intro. Okay, so we've got that. I've got 3mm bicones, but seed beads would work perfectly in this design. So 3mm bicones are kind of hard to get a hold of. And ear wires of choice. I made these, of course. And I think that's it for supplies. For tools, I'm just using my round nose pliers, my chain nose pliers, and my flush cutters. That's it. And your ruler, of course. That comes in handy for measuring. Okay, so let's get started. So what we're going to do is we want to find the approximate center of the wire, but we want to give ourselves space to make the loop and the wrap. So let's give ourselves, take from 1 inch, about 1.5 inches from one end, and then we're going to take and match the end of the wire to that point. So 1.5 inches is approximately, 3.5 centimeters, close enough. And then we're going to try and guesstimate the center there and do like a 90-degree bend. And one end is going to be longer than the other. The end that's longer is what's going to do the wire wrapping and the loop. So we're going to, for earrings, to make them mirrored, we're going to wrap one the regular way and then one in reverse, because that'll change our directions. Oops, got a hair here. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that. It'll probably fight with my camera. You'll have to forgive me. And my paper's shifting. Do it over top of a paper so that it has better visual for you. And I'm going to wrap it 3 times, and then I want to come from behind. So we're going to end up at the back. So it's got 3 wraps, and I'm going to have to straighten them. And I'm out of camera, sorry. And so I want the loop like this, and I want this top loop to be straight, and mine isn't. And I'm just going to do all the fixing and straightening. Cinch it up. And then I'm going to hold this loop with the pliers and pull it to the side like this, because you want it like that. Okay, so you want one like that, and then I'm going to wrap the other one right away in the reverse wrap. So the same process, take about 1.5 inches from the end, find the center of the remainder wire, and make a loop. And I'll try and stay in camera for this. It's kind of awkward. Okay, so I've got my 90-degree bend. Got the loop. And remember, you can do this in a pendant style too. You would just do a larger loop and do two circles instead of 1 circle. Otherwise, it's exactly the same process. So, now I just did reversed. I don't want it like that. I'm going to go back, and we want it on the right-hand side to do a reverse loop. See, normally we go on the left-hand side there. And I just need to straighten out my loop. And I'm at the back. And now it's messy. I think I might have to redo this one. Let's see how it looks. Oh, it's not too bad. Okay, I'm going to keep it. Now I'm going to straighten it all out too. Cinch up my wraps. And just like that. Okay, so I have one. The wire going straight down is the, I just lost a bead. I'll have to go grab another one. It's on the floor now. Okay, and so, get this in focus. So they both have the bead wire, which is the one that goes straight down. But the other wire is going opposite directions. One's going left, one's going right. That's what you need. I'm going to grab another bead out of my packet. And then I have my 6. And I'm going to do my earrings basically simultaneously, just because it's easier for a beginner to do that. I mean, I'm pretty good at not having to do that, but I recommend that you do. So what we're going to do is, see this space here? We're trying to make the top of your bead touch the bottom of the wraps. So it might take a couple of tries for you, but like that, so that it's sitting there. And there's going to be wires wrapped around it, so if you're not perfect, don't stress out about it. It's going to work. And then this wire, I want you to flip it up like this, and it's going to lock the beads. I mean, the whether you're using a guitar pick or a bead or a stone, just have it sitting nice and tight there, fairly tight. Now I'm going to put on my beads, and I'm using 3. If you're using seed beads, you might be using more. And I don't have room for it to sit there, so I'm going to lift that wire up a bit so that the beads can sit better. And this is going to be awkward at first. We're going to have to do some corrections as we go. Okay, so the direction that this wire is, that is the direction we want to have the beads do a curve. So I'm trying to hold support this, have the beads sit straight, and do a curve in that direction. And that can be challenging, I understand. So you have to probably fix this a couple times. You've got it to have a curve there. And we're going to do the same thing on the other one, but in reverse. So this is the bead wire, the one that's in the center of the wraps is the bead wire. So we're going to put your guitar pick. So you're coming from the back, so that the front sits there. And I had to do a little bit of adjustments. And now I'm pushing this up. And then see, this wire is this way, so I'm going to make my curve go that way, the same direction as that wire. Putting my beads on. Okay, and I'm lifting up this wire a little bit so that the beads can go directly there. Supporting the loop, holding the bead straight, curving, and it keeps moving on me, curving downwards. And we kind of want to have complementary curves when we compare the two. It's kind of hard to tell at this point, but the next step is to make a locking loop at the bottom of the beads, so like that. And we're going to do the same thing on the other one, which will be the opposite direction. And we kind of want to have the locking loops the same size. That's the goal. And I have one bigger than the other, so it's easier to tighten it up than to loosen it up. I mean, you can do either. So now it's too tight. I'm going to just put tension back, loosen it up a little bit. Okay, so the next step, I've got this one. I'm going to hold this, center that. Okay, we want this to be straight and that to be where we want it. And then we're going to take this wire coming from the back, and you're going to bring it forwards and hug it underneath like that. That wire is actually going to get covered, so don't stress out about it not looking pretty right now. And we're kind of echoing this loop like this, so that you have two loops like that, and the two wires are together at that point. Now I'm going to take my other earring and do the same thing. So I'm bringing this forward, holding the bead in place, having that kind of centered, pulling this forward and having it hug against there. And then it's going to go under that bottom bead, but that's okay. And make a loop to complement that. And I know they're different. They are different. So I don't know if we can try and make them more similar. Probably not. I don't know why it's so different. There we go. Okay, now it's more similar to the other one. So it's going to take a little bit of practice, a little bit of playing. You can't expect them to be exactly the same, but that's pretty close. Okay, so now I'm going to just finish off this one, and then we'll continue with the other one. Now I'm going to curve that wire up. And the goal is to curl it up and come on this side. The same side we started. I got a hair on my wrist. Okay, so it can be, you can have it so that one, you can tug it so they split apart, or however you choose, so they twist. It's all beauty. Okay, so I've got it like that. I'm at the same side I started, and now I'm going to wrap around. I'm supporting my work. I want it centered. And this is kind of locking it into place. Okay, so I've got it wrapped around like that. And now I'm going to go up, sway up, and make a loop in front of the neck, like this. So it's like this. Just checking on my other stuff. Yeah, that's what I want. So you want it up like that, and then you're going to have it up there, and we're going to snip it off at about 1 centimeter. And then we're going to snip the top wire another 2 millimeters. So that's about 1 centimeter from here. I had lots of extra wire, but I mean, if you've got a bigger stone and you make it a little bit bigger design, it's good to have the extra wire. I always say it's better to have too much than too little. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this off another 2 millimeters. And that wire went flying. And I'm taking the end of my chain nose pliers. Now you could choose the tip of your chain nose or the tip of your round nose pliers to do this. I find my chain nose grips better and I prefer it, but everybody's different. And I'm just going to twist a loop at the end of that wire like that so that the wire touches itself. And then I'm going to do a reverse one. I've got it upside down so that I can do it reversed. And exact same process. So one will be longer than the other and one will be, well, they're going opposite directions. And now I'm going to center everything again, push it down, and get it into place. And now I'm going to tap my pliers against it to work harden it and lock it all into place. You could use a rawhide mallet if you wanted. You could do it on a surface. Just kind of work hardens it and keeps it strong. And that one is done. Isn't that pretty? Okay, and now I'm going to, now what you could have done is each steps one at a time with your 2 earrings the same way, but, or separate like me. You can choose to do that however you wish. And now I'm going to make it similar shape. You have to pull tight if you need to. Make sure your loop is sitting right. Okay, and now I'm going to the side that I started from, wrapping it around. I'm supporting my work with my thumb, holding it against the bead, wrapping it around. And now I'm going to do a loop in front, just like this, but in reverse, in front of the neck of your loop. And you want it to be similar in size as the other earring. Okay, so that's similar. That looks pretty close. And now I'm going to snip it off about 1 centimeter away from there. And then I'm going to split that apart a little bit and cut that top wire about 2 millimeters shorter. I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and do that top loop. And now the bottom loop. And now I want to try and make it sit very similar to the other earring. So I'm going to push it down with my fingers. That's about right. And now I'm going to do the tapping again. And I notice my loop isn't closed all the way, so I'm going to adjust that. Push it down. I'm not hitting hard, guys. And I'm just going to adjust this loop to sit nice. And there they are, ready to put the ear wires on. And there they are. Done. Whoops, I'd have them sit like this. Lift them up. Okay. Thank you for joining me in this video. If you liked it, please subscribe. Hit the like button and join me in future ones. If you subscribe and hit the bell, then you'll get notification of future tutorials. I'm not promising to do one every week. It's hard to come up with new designs all the time, but I managed to get a couple designs ahead of time, and most of them are going to be just little simple doodles like this that are great for beginners and for those that want to have something quick to work up. And so I'd like to thank you for joining me, and God bless and love you guys. Bye for now.